Ouch. Love hurts for sure. Selfish Pride with Derrick T. Lewis on AVA Live Radio. Hey, Derrick, how are you?
Jacqueline, thank you for having me on. I'm doing great, and I was so excited to be a part of this interview. I was definitely looking forward to it.
It's great to have you here. This is a tough topic, I have to say. I'm listening to the lyrics of your song, and oh my God. Yeah, did that happen to you? Did that happen to you?
I would say part of it,
Tell the
yeah,
truth
and I
now.
mean, I believe it did. But you want to know something too, Jacqueline? I have to be honest with you. When
Yeah.
I wrote this song, obviously there was those things in mind, but also too, it's what everyday people go through. You know what I mean? I was saying this on another
Yeah,
interview the other day. I was saying it's like I want to write music that everyone can relate to. You know what I'm saying? That everyday people can relate to,
absolutely.
and we all go through triumph and pain. You know what I mean? We all go through triumph and pain all the time. So
We sure do.
although this did happen, right? Although some of this stuff did happen to me, at the same time, it was like I want to write what everybody wants, what everybody's feeling, and I'm pretty sure if you write something for the people and you write something for everybody, they're going to come with you and they're going to support you because what you're writing about and what you're conveying lyrically, musically is real.
Yeah, well, that's what you're here for too, isn't it? You're a muse. You're not given this talent to waste it, so you better be putting words to the emotions that we are all feeling because we need that.
Exactly.
We
Yes.
need
Yes. Yes.
that for
Indeed.
sure. That's why AVA Live Radio we call the indie artists the voice of the new music generation because you guys are authentic. One thing about doing this in social media is it's really hard to be something you aren't because you can't do it consistently. So you fall by the wayside. And
Right.
that is, once you go through the hard knocks and you learn that, then you start coming, you start coming across with your music and you really start to stand out. So it's great that you do that.
Indeed.
It's kind of a voice
Yes.
for emotional. Do you write about happy stuff too? Because I know the bad stuff is really easier to write about, right?
It is easier to write about. I mean, just like in movies, you always want to write about the hero and the villain in a movie.
Yeah.
But my next project that's going to be coming up is going to be something on the happy side, and I think a lot of people are going to enjoy. People are going to be dancing, so stay tuned for that. So it's going to be writing about some happy stuff. It's going to be talking about finding love, finding happiness in your life, and all those things. So that's going to be coming up soon.
So you're going to take us back up.
Yes, yes, yes. You need to do that. We got to take you back up. Got to bring you
There
down a
you
little bit.
go.
To bring you up.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Gotta have that happen. Absolutely. Where are you from?
Yes.
Where are you right now?
Well, I'm in Delaware, but I was born and raised in New Jersey. Born and raised in Jersey. Grew up in Newark. I moved down here about 11 years ago, and then 7 years ago, I decided that I wanted to pursue my acting career, something I had been putting aside for a while, and I've been successful in that, on the acting end. And music has always been in me. For example, when I was 9 years old, I picked up the pair of drumsticks and took drum lessons. Because music is in my family. My father was in the Drifters, for over 20 years.
He was
God
in the
rest him.
Drifters. That's
My
awesome.
father was in my. Yes, he joined the group in 1975, and I believe he left the group. I believe in 1990, and like I said, I lost my father about in 2010. But my mom, him and my mom met. She was in an R&B group called the Pretenders back in the late '60s. That's how they met. You know what I mean? And rhythm and blues group and things like that. And
Wow.
again, with the music is in my blood. So I started taking drum lessons. I did drum corps for 15 seasons. I marched with Spirit of Newark. I marched with the Harrison Bushwhackers. They were six-time
Wow.
DCA world champions. So I was a snare drummer there. I've taught a lot of different high school marching bands, indoor percussion ensembles, and things like that. So music has always been a part of my life. It's in my bloodline. And when I was in high school, I used to write lyrics to music all the time. Just in my spare time, it was something I wanted to take seriously. And I would sing with my boys in high school back in the day. I thought Boys to Men was one of my favorite groups back in the day. So I love all genres of music, from Madonna to Prince to Michael Jackson to Rush to to Dream Theater and
Yeah.
all that stuff. But at the
Terrific.
same time, Boys to Men was like my thing in high school. So we used to sing in the back hallway all the time. But through the years, I would write music. And then lately the bug was biting me, just like acting was 7 years ago. And about 2 or 3 years ago, I was like, I got to take this, seriously. And then Selfish Pride came out of me in a day and a half. And I
Really?
made a bet. Yes, I made a bet with myself, Jacqueline. This is the God's honest truth. I said if I literally dared myself to record this song, and if I didn't record this song in 6 months, that I was to never do music again. That's the truth.
Oh my goodness. Really? That's a tough thing to say though. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh. Can't
Right.
never do
But it
music
was
again.
yeah, but I had to push myself, and that was what I mean. I had
You
to push
did.
because every time I would write a song or get an idea, whatever, I would for some reason I would put it aside. I was like, I didn't know, But then all of a
Right.
sudden, I linked up with the right people. Thanks to my
Mhm.
sister Erica, and shout out to my nephew Royale. He's a rap artist, and you're gonna be hearing a lot of things from him soon. He's done some things over the last couple of years, but my nephew is doing his thing. But they linked me up with two producers, one by the name of Stefan Mosley, and my other producer, Aswad Samad, who also brought in he did some of the ad libs, vocals, and things like that on the song, and he was doing some of the talking that time at the end. So with those two, my sister and my nephew introduced me to those two. They're the reason that Selfish Pride is where it is now.
Oh, isn't that nice? It's a good story. It really is. And it is important for you to push yourself. I totally get it. I mean, you're talking to a girl that stays up sometimes till 2, 3 in the morning if it's necessary to get what I need to get done. So I know what it's like.
Exactly.
It's very sacrifice. It's full of sacrifice when you have big goals, and dreams that you want to achieve. But it's kind of fun though, isn't it? I mean, it's exciting. It's hard to go to sleep
It's
when
a
you really want
process.
to get something done.
You know what? I got to tell you. Now, obviously, acting is fun. I love acting, but I'm not in charge of any production. I just show up to set, whatever the case may
Right.
be. But when I literally had to head up an entire project, you know what I mean? And I had to, for example, I had to work on the music end. I had to work with Aswad and Stefan, right? Now, mind you, Stefan moved back
Right.
from Germany last year, so we're emailing back and forth about different ideas, toying around with some things, some elements with the song, and that type of thing. Then with the music video, I had to give a shout out to director Peter James Iengo. I did two movies for him. My boy Corin Johnson of Mindfall Media, Cameron Tadeo, he edited my video. Ashley, who was on set with doing camera work on set, and then my actors Rico King and Irene Hernandez, who I'm doing a musical for too. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I had to literally, and I can't forget my photographer Aaron DeSerafino, who did the artwork for my for the cover. So I had literally everything going on. I had emails going here, there, then it would be everybody here, there, and everybody. So it taught me about time management, working, literally, getting a team together, getting a team atmosphere, and not one argument, not one disagreement happened because we were all on the same page. We all shared the same vision. They believed in me, they pushed me, and they believed in my vision.
Oh, that's really nice. And it's a very important. We were just talking about that earlier about having the right team that believes in your vision. You have to surround yourself with kind of similar people too, don't you think, when you're in this industry, especially being creative?
You have to be. Now, are there going to be times where you really want to push this idea, you want to do absolutely, but I think cooler heads will always prevail. And I think if you know what your end goal is going to be, what the end result is going to be, no one really has time for negative energy, because the
Right.
more negative energy you have, that's a recipe for disaster. And these are people that I've worked with in the past in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
actor Rico that was in the I don't know if you saw. I'm sure you saw the music video. The guy that got out of the car and kissed the girl and everything. I
Yeah.
worked with Rico on 4 different projects. You know what I mean? He's a fashion model. He's doing his thing. He did Kanye's fashion show last year at Madison Square Garden. So Rico's doing his thing. Irene Hernandez. I worked with her. I've done some work for her with her theater company in New York City. I've done work with her before. And Peter, I did the 2 movies. One, Where Hearts Lie, that was directed by Tony Lindsay and produced by Peter Iengo. And then Peter also did a movie called C Street. So there's somebody that I worked with before. So these are people that are like-minded individuals that, again, share the same vision and they're on the same page and they're just all go-getters. And if you surround a team like that, you're destined to go far. And like I said, without them, there was no. Like I said, I can't take all the credit for this. This goes out to my team, and I want to publicly thank them because without them, you know what I mean, this project wouldn't be where it is.
I know, right? Let's talk a little bit more about the video too. In prepping the
Yes.
video, first of all, did you do anything special on social media before the video came out or while you were recording the video? What was that like for you?
Okay, well, first off, this was a secret project. First of all, this was a secret project because everyone knew I was an actor, and I wanted to
Hmm.
really surprise people by doing a complete 180 and saying, "Hey, I'm doing music also." So this was
Ah.
my very first music project, and in a way I wanted zero distractions, and I really wanted to focus on, okay, this is what it is. But what I did do is when I announced the on my birthday, November 7th, I
Ah.
made the announcement. Yes, I made the announcement about the single, which again caught people by surprise. They had no idea. There were people, family members of mine, had no idea I was doing this music because I really wanted to focus
No.
and just get
Oh my
it done. I
God.
did, literally. I kept it a secret for a long time.
That's
So what I
tough.
did is that it was very tough. It was very tough to keep a secret, but we all wanted to get the job done, and that's what we did. But what I did, the song, I announced it on the 7th. The song came out on the 11th, and I did a sneak preview on YouTube on Cyber Monday. It was on November 25th,
Mhm.
and there were a lot of people that were like, "Oh wow, I can't wait to see this video now." That's what got people going. So getting back to your question in regards to what the social media as far as the video is concerned, at first, like I said, it was a secret project, but then once the song was out, people heard it. People were now prepping for, they were amping for the sneak preview, and it was 25 seconds, and it was like, man, people were inboxing me, hey man, that was like a cliffhanger. I want more, I want more, and I was hoping that the video would give them that, and there were people that were very, very pleased with the end product.
Oh, that's awesome. My gosh, I have to say I don't know how you kept it secret. That's a tough thing to do. I can keep nothing secret. I really can't. Unless
Hmm.
it's something from a client and then then I have to. But if it's me personally,
Right.
oh God, forget it. Everything's out there. I just can't do it
Friends of
anymore.
mine, they were just saying, "Listen, I'm happy for you, but why couldn't you tell me?" I said, "I could not tell
Yeah.
anybody because
That's a
I
huge thing.
really wanted." It is, it is.
Talk about staying in your head, with your project. That's amazing.
I woke up. I literally woke up and went. I woke up and I went to bed every single night with this project on my mind. Obviously, auditions and things like that for acting and so was still going on. That's still my primary focus. But at the same time, it was I have to get this project done, and I woke up with that mindset every day.
Oh my God. That it's good that you said that because for people that are listening and probably I don't know, I think I read something like 80% of people that actually have a goal don't work to achieve the goal. They think about the goal all the time. They're constantly
Right.
thinking about wanting to do it or wanting to achieve it, but they never actually get started. And I know that when live streaming came out, people were, oh yeah, I'm going to live stream, and they would study and figure out how and find out every tip they could possibly do instead of just starting to live stream. And still to
Right.
this day, I
Right.
still have people that still have it live stream. Oh no, I'm not ready, and they put it off. And it just goes to show you that you're that kind of energy. You're the kind of energy that gets things done. And people should be inspired by what you just said here today because it takes a lot of bravery and courage to get up every single day and know that what you're doing is not only going to make you happy, but it's going to be successful. It's going to be a finished project. It's going to be something you can achieve. I think that there's a lot to be said for self-sabotage, in people's minds. How do you feel about it? Have you ever been self-sabotaging a little bit?
I mean, we all have self doubt. We all have, what we have that what if mentality, the what if mentality. But I got to
Yeah.
be honest with you. When you look at the most successful people, for example, like I'm a big sports fan, right? And
Oh, me
Tom
too.
Brady
Yeah.
is he's the quarterback for the New England Patriots. Now I don't know if you know his
Mhm.
story, but he was the 199th pick in the 2000 NFL draft. He was walking around his neighborhood preparing not to get drafted because of how far he fell down, and
Mhm.
luckily the Patriots picked him up. He was the fourth quarterback on the roster, moved up to the second. He was the backup the following year. a Mo Lewis hit on Drew Bledsoe later. Tom Brady is now who he is. So I look at people like him. I look at people like Michael Jordan. But then you look at people like Steve Jobs. When you look at people like Bill Gates. When you look at so many successful people that are out there. I mean, heck, look at what Michael Jackson had achieved in his life. When you look at so many different artists. When you look at Jay-Z and the mogul that he is today. You know what I mean? When you look at guys like 50 Cent, who went obviously from rapping, but now he's an executive producer on the show Power. You know, when I look at guys like look at people like him. So there's going to be self-doubt, but you have to continue to believe in yourself and believe that what your brand of whatever it is going to be good. Because here's my philosophy about this, Jacqueline. I can't be I can't travel somebody else's path. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't sit there and say, well, I'm gonna model after this guy's path because that's the way he did it. If you follow down somebody else's path, that is recipe for disaster, because all you're gonna be is just a carbon copy of somebody else. You have to be your own brand of you and be the best you that you can possibly be. So that was a life lesson that I learned through this whole process. So with self-doubt, obviously there's going to be some of that, but you have to kick self-doubt in the rear and say, all right, man, let's keep moving because we have goals to achieve.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny you should mention athletics, because I swear a lot of drive and determination is trained in people who have played sports when they were younger, or really know sports, are very big sports fans and admire the people that have worked that hard, and they know how hard it works, I feel like there's a comfort that comes when you know that somebody like Steve Jobs has been through a lot to get to where he was, or like Michael Jordan has sacrificed to get to where he got to. And there's a comfort, right? When you find out that other people have worked that hard, you're like, yeah, okay, so now I don't feel so bad. Now I know that, it's going to get there for me if I keep putting in the time and the energy.
And you have to sometimes learn from failure. I mean, have I failed during this process? Absolutely. We all have to learn from failure, but I think the key is that getting yourself back up and picking yourself back up after failure. You've learned from it. And now, okay, I learned this lesson, and I'm going to take that and run and keep running with it and keep focused. Because as long as you do that and keep your eye on the prize, like I said, greater things will come down the road. But it's always just waking up every day with the mindset of, okay, I'm going to achieve goals today. That's the way it is.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Did you play sports when you were younger?
I did, actually. I played shout out to my Southward Little League in Newark. I played there from, give away my age a little bit, from 89 to 91. We were the Southward Little League Reds. And I got and just a little inspirational story. My second year, we didn't have a coach. So Team Mom was coaching for a little while. We were the worst team in the entire league.
No.
And my buddy, we were. And my boy Rasheen, his father, Coach Mack, came and coached us. He recruited some other kids to come play, and we made the playoffs. Barely made the playoffs. Did a run through the playoffs and won the championship. And that was one of the great. And that was 1990. I will never forget that for as long as I live, because that was an effort by every single one of my teammates that we had a goal. When we got to those playoffs, we said, we're not losing. We're not losing this round. It was 3 rounds. We are not losing, and we didn't. And it got so crazy to when I was playing outfield. I volunteered to play right field, and next thing you know, I saw the strikeout. You kind of lose yourself out there playing outfield a little bit, and I see my teammates.
Yeah, I played it for a little while.
I said, oh wow, we won, right? And we won. So I mean, like I said, I still remember those days. So to my friends Walter, Rasheem, Amina, you name it, man, all my teammates that was on that team, man, I think about them all the time, because that was just a moment in my life. It's like, man, when you win something and you think about the road and the journey on how you got there, that's the most important ingredient, man. It's all about the journey. And I bring it back to this, because when I think about selfish pride, and when I think about, when I see the video, and I saw it the other day, I'm like, man, like, I can't believe this is a reality now. An idea became a thought and became reality. I'm like, man, this feels really, really good. Real good.
That's awesome. It's funny, when you were saying that, I was thinking of also the fact that leading athletes and top entrepreneurs, they know that you have to learn from failure, and they're just you get in the mindset that you just suck it up and you move past it, and that's how you get to where you're going to go. Like, people, our coaches in athletics, your coach teaches you how to do the moves, but ultimately you have to repeat them over and over and over again before you perfect them. So you're constantly failing, and we don't consider it a fail. We just consider it as what we needed to go through to get to where we need to be.
Absolutely.
I think that that's what more indie artists need to appreciate and need to learn, especially when they want to run this as a business. I think that's one of the things that maybe is not connecting. I wish we could connect it more.
We should. Absolutely should.
Yeah, it would be interesting to do that. Well, thank you so much for being on air with me today, Derrick. It's been great having you here, and I really liked talking to you.
Same here, likewise. And like I said, to all the people that supported the project, Selfish Pride, like I said, I'm glad you all enjoyed it, and there's more to come. Stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned.
That's awesome. Too cool. Derrick T. Lewis on A.V.A. Live Radio, Behind the Music with Jacqueline Jax. Thanks for everybody who has been joining us for the live and also the replay version. It's been great to have you guys here. Special thanks to Quick Machine, to Callie, Albus, Benavox, and Derrick T. Lewis.